Alright, this is the basic introduction to CleanSlate. So let's just go ahead and log into CleanSlate. So the first page we come to is the dashboard, and the main section to take note of here is the Your Sites panel. So here we're going to have a listing of all the sites that the user is associated with, and above that we have a site search bar. So we can go ahead and start typing in the name of a site, and it will filter our results to match what we typed. So if you need to narrow it down a little further, we also have the option to filter by site status. So a live site is a site that's currently up and running and viewable to the public. A development site is a site that's still under operation but has the intent to go live. And an archive site is typically an older site that's already been replaced. Alright, so if you want to shift your focus to the right, you'll notice a check this out section. And basically this section is just telling you that CleanSlate uses the Mercury editor, which is a WYSIWYG editor, and it goes on to give you tips how to deal with it if problems arise. So in the top right of our screen we've got an intelligent search bar, which is a little different than the site search bar. Although you can search for sites here, if you have a site selected already, you can use the intelligent search bar and search for pages or users within that site. And to the left we have this dashboard button, which will take us back to the dashboard of CleanSlate. Okay, so let's just jump into one of these sites and get a little bit more familiar with the tabs in CleanSlate. So once we select a site, the first tab we come to is the Site Overview tab. And the main thing here is the activity feed. So with the activity feed we can see what user affected what and when they affected it. To the right we have an update on the status and the domain name of our site. And in the top right, this green visit button just lets us view the production version of our site. So moving on, the next tab we have is the Pages tab. So here we can see a collection of all the pages in our site. And above that we have the basic page filter and an advanced page filter. And in the top right we have the option to create a page. And the More button just lets us expand and collapse all of our pages. So the next tab is the Files tab, and here we can see the file archive for our site. To the left of that we have our file filter, and in the top right we have the option to upload files. Okay, so the last tab is the Manage tab, and depending on your level of user you may or may not have access to this tab. But once we select the Manage tab we have the option to manage settings, manage domains, and manage members. So I'll just start with settings. So once we select settings we have two tabs here. We have the basic tab, which basically just lets us see the name of our site, theme, status, owner, and next to that the CSS tab. So if we have any custom CSS rules we want to enter for our site, this is where we do that. Alright, so the next manage option is domains. So with this we can see the name, the domain name of our site, and the kind of site it is. So it's in development at the moment. Next to that we have the option to edit the domain name or delete it, and in the top right we can add another domain name. Alright, so the last managed option we have is members. So currently there aren't any members assigned to the site, but typically they would have the member name and their roles, and in the top right we have the option to add a member. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up the basic introduction for CleanSlate.